jerk chicken. How do I love thee? Jerk chicken. You're not going to be able to get pimento wood here in the United States. And if you do, who knows the quality or where it's from. It's super, super, super expensive. But other than that, this is about as authentic as it gets. And I like to serve mine with little Haitian pikliz. You want the recipe for this succulent, sweet, delicious, oh my God, I have to have it right now, yard bird? Well, stick around. I'm gonna show you how. First thing we gotta do, make our pikliz. Cabbage, onion, getting rid of some red onion I have in the fridge, garlic, bell pepper or any other sweet pepper, scallions, salt, peppercorns, cloves, and last but not least, our hot peppers. Use habaneros, use Scotch bonnets. I like to mash them up really well. And once they're mashed a bit, add a few tablespoons of vinegar. Now, it's not my current recipe, but I have some thyme left over from my marinade for my jerk chicken that I'm gonna make. And so I'm gonna throw those in there as well, make sure there's a stem or two in each of the jars of my pikliz. Gotta put in our lime juice and then our vinegar. I don't use gloves often when I'm cooking, but when I'm making anything that has habaneros, Scotch bonnets, those kind of chilies in them, and I wanna make sure to mix them well, you bet your bippy I am wearing gloves. Shredded carrots. Can't believe I almost forgot those. My favorite part. I love crunchy sweet carrots in here. All right, pikliz are going in the fridge, which means it's time to make the marinade for our jerk chicken. Super easy. First thing that goes in, a bunch of scallions. 1 habanero or Scotch bonnet, cut in half. Now I like to put in a nice small handful of chopped thyme. I have a couple of chickens, so I'm actually gonna throw a couple other habaneros in there. Garlic, onion, about a golf ball's worth of chopped fresh ginger, the juice of 2 limes, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, pepper, a nice glug of neutral oil. Now, some people like to put a few tablespoons of rum in theirs. I'm a bigger fan of putting a few tablespoons of molasses. And this makes enough to marinate about 2 or 3 chickens. So there's our chicken. So you can remove the dark quarters. Those are the leg and thigh pieces joined together, and cut down here, cut across there, and make traditional American 8-piece. Or you can do what I like to do, because I want this to sit on the grill for as long as possible without drying out or overcooking, which means I want to keep it in as big a piece as possible, which is essentially either 2 half chickens or a spatchcocked chicken. And I like to take my Shun poultry shears and just coming down right down the pipe and cut the backbones. I save them because they make great stock. But essentially, I'm just taking the backbone right out of there. So I have 2 dark quarters here. I have my breast there. I have my wings whole. And then we're going to do the traditional spatchcocked chicken. Super, super easy. All you want to do is put your hands on the thickest part here of the breast and just push down. And that cracks this little bone up in there, and you can actually see that. And that way, this chicken is going to be able to maintain a lot of time cooking over indirect coals. Down into the bowl of marinade like so. And remember, there's lots of hot chilies in here. So let's make sure that we do a really nice job of protecting our hands. You can let this sit on there for 4 or 6 hours, but I highly recommend that you let the chicken marinade for 24 hours, 36 hours. That's where the magic really happens. So I'm gonna seal this up with some plastic wrap. I'm going to, every 8-10 hours, whenever I'm around, just give it a little toss. And then we will throw this on the grill and we will have the jerk chicken of your dreams. Okay, 24 hours later, spatchcock chickens. I've turned each one of them a couple of times in there, so I know that they're really well taken care of. I've built an indirect coal situation. I've done this on my cheap hardware store grill and not on my big fancy grills, so that I can show you exactly how to. You got a big fancy grill, you got no problem. You got a green egg, a red egg, a Kamado, whatever egg you have, you can smoke and cook. You've used it. This is simple. I'm going to show you the coal bed. I'm going to show you the setup in just a second, and we'll get cooking. But the first thing that I really want to do is get the chicken down onto the grill. All right, I have coals on 1/3 of the grill. I have a little trap door here that I love, so I can add coals and a little bit of smoking dust or chips. And all I am going to do is throw my spatchcocked birds one at a time onto either side, the indirect. I'm just basting these with a little bit of that fabulous marinade because it's got those great solids in it. The next thing we want to do is the real fun part. You can use wet chips. You can use a little smoking dust. I love the smoking dust. And all I do is throw that down there. So here's the grill. You can see I have this vent closed. And the reason I have this vent closed is that the sawdust is right there, right? So I want the sawdust, that smoke, to carry across, up and out, across where the chicken is, which is on this side, and up and out. I have, my temperature is at 375, right? So I know that I'm gonna want this on there for about at least an hour and a half. And I'll probably add some coals to that end in about half an hour when I switch my chicken sides around, but we'll see. I'll have my instant thermometer at the ready. When I flip them, I've got a little bit more marinade to baste with. Never baste during the last 20 minutes of cooking, right? There's raw chicken juice in there. But if I baste before that, it has a chance to heat up to over 160 degrees and kill any salmonella or other bacteria. But we just want to keep an eye on that temperature. We want it to stay above 350. As long as we're there, then we are cooking and smoking at the same time. This is after 35 minutes, but you can see that we're starting to take on that brown patina of smoke. You can see that we have ash from our sawdust. I'm going to add some coals here. All right, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. I did have that little bit of charcoal addition, and it's been averaging about 375 degrees in there. These have not been flipped. Look at that mahogany, smoky bark that's on there. It's just fantastic. What I want to do right now, I use my thermometer. We're at about 150 degrees on the dark meat, and we are about 140-ish degrees on the white meat in the center, which means we are very, very close. I want this to be about 155. I want the dark quarters to be about just over 160. That would essentially make them perfect. I have this nice bed of coals right here. So all I want to do is very carefully is just flip this on to the skin side. I'm going to let those sort of char up on the skin side for a couple of minutes. And that, my friends, is exactly what the doctor ordered. And now we're just going to close the lid again and let that cook for about 10 more minutes, and we're done. 5 more minutes. How perfect is that? Smoky, spicy, insanely moist, sweet, succulent bird. My favorite compliment, Haitian pikliz. And most importantly, how does this and the pikliz taste? Tastes like it looks. Perfect.